Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the AOR Hyper Energy Season 16 Formula 4 League here on the PC. We're here at the Hockenheimring for the halfway point of this season. Hockenheim held its first World Championship round back in 1970 when drivers refused to race on the Nürburgring Nordschleife on safety grounds. In 1977, F1 turned its back on the Nordschleife for good, after having switched between the two tracks for years, and the Hockenheimring became the regular home of the German Grand Prix. Hockenheim was the regular host until 1984, when the safer GP stretch was built. Both the tracks could used up until 2011 when F1 once again turned their back on the Nürburgring. Its long straights tortured engines even when they were broken up by chicanes, which were tightened on safety grounds as the years went by, notably at the Oscar, where Patrick Depailler sadly lost his life during testing in 1980. Eventually, concerns over the safety of the track, particularly how narrow it was, and the environmental pressures due to its location in heavily wooded areas, led to the destruction of its characteristic long straights after the 2001 race. The tyres available for this weekend are the ultra softs and the medium, and as always the intermediates and full wets if the rain decides to come down, as we saw in the real life Grand Prix. Now for the track records. GTI Killer Whale holds the pole time with a 1:44.863, and Alex UKR holds the fastest race time with a 42:22.085. And now for a look at the 5.8 kilometer or 2.8 mile long circuit with 17 corners, 5 to the left and 12 to the right, and 3 whole DRS zones, making it surprisingly hard to overtake on. Now Alex will take you for a lap round the track.
Hello and welcome to the Hockenheimring. I'm Alex Buckmaster. We're on board with the sweet Kimi Larson in his Ferrari. He's just opened up DRS on the start-finish straight as we head towards turn 1, lifting ever so slightly, staying in 7th gear for turn 1. Open up DRS once again as we start barreling down towards turn 2, 3 and 4, braking just at 100 metres there in 8th gear. Now here we go, running a bit wide as we go into the Parabolica. DRS open for the 3rd time as he goes into 8th gear, gets him ready for turn 6, which is the hairpin. Here he goes, he's about to brake just before the 100 metre board, right down into 2nd gear. Open up, ready for another long straight. Here we go into 4th, into 5th gear. You're going to make sure you're ready for turn 7. Not even lifting at all, keep on accelerating as we got heavy braking zone into turn 8. Mercedes taking a lovely bit of curve there, if I do say so myself. Into 9, into 10, another long straight as we head into turn 11. Mobile 1 only shifting down ever so slightly into 6th gear, into 7 as we go into Sachs. Make sure you don't bin it like any other Ferraris do as we go into a very tight, tricky section, very technical, into 13, 14 and 15. And then you go for the last corner, number 16. Open up DRS once again, and that is a lap round the Hockenheimring. I've been Alex Buckmaster. Please enjoy your race.
And welcome back from that hot lap. Now Cozzie will take you for a look at the standings. Take it away.
Yes, I will, thank you. Ryzen is currently leading the championship with only 9 points, though, to Zerd in 2nd place. And Zerd, not that too far behind, but unfortunately will miss this round and the next one in Hungary, I do believe. But he's he's there for the taking. Kryzik's in 4th with Johannesburg on identical points return. Jeff Kane and Big Boss make it an old Dutch 6, 7 and 8. Hooper and Robert Brown out the top 10. Richie B, Heitinen, Brienk, Tom Lippman, also known as Gamer Mode, Eli, Marb, Martin, Diracote, Lazzaro and Otto round out the standings. The last 4 all yet to score a point. Hopefully that will change for them today. The Constructors' Championship are as follows. Williams have a comfortable lead of 61 points to the nearest challengers of Haas, who have got Sauber very much in their sights on 3rd position. Force India and Ferrari very nicely congested indeed. Renault have got a bit of distance between themselves, and McLaren have got a lot of distance between themselves and Red Bull, and Toro Rosso and Mercedes still all in 10th position in the Constructors' Championship.
Yep, and as we go on to the qualifying here, we already see Robert here having retired from the session, as it's quite overcast at the moment. Maybe we're able to see some rain.
Yeah, just to add to Robert, he got pole, if you remember, in Silverstone. It was three weeks ago, was it? Silverstone?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, he got pole, but it was deemed a little bit illegitimate. Unfortunately, the game couldn't pinpoint it, but the stewards have, and he got a qualifying ban. So a very harsh penalty from the AOR stewards, but that is how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and it's not gone in Robert's favour, and he's going to start way down the field, and he had good pace. He was feeling confident going into this race, and then all his hopes of scoring a second pole position in as many races have been shattered.
Yes, indeed it has. As we see, some drivers here already have put a lap in. Here we have Ferraris already on provisional pole with a 112.9.
Remember though, he's on the ultra soft tyres.
Yes, indeed he is.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting qualifying session with all the 3 different compounds. I won't be surprised if we see all 3 different compounds be used for the drivers' fastest laps. Guys who want track position, but they will fall down through the field as they have to make, I think, 1 more stop compared to the guys starting on softs or mediums. So they'll start on ultra soft tyres. I think Ferrari's, who is a new guy to our league, so welcome to F4. I hope you enjoy your stay. And obviously all the guys are on medium tyres around him, so they'll be looking to take the preferred strategy of the mediums to softs, maybe the softs to mediums. It's all down to what the drivers feel most comfortable with, and right now it looks to be that most drivers are preferring the white striped medium compound tyres.
Yep, it looks like it. And if you do start on medium tyres, you can expect to go to around lap 19 to 22. And for you guys in chat, I am very sorry for the stuttering in the stream. It looks like we're experiencing some technical difficulties. If you just stand by, we can try and see. Nothing should be going on, but I am very sorry for those.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad on my end.
No, there were some extreme stuttering before, but it can be that it is fixed now.
Yeah, hopefully it gets settled.
Yep, and I'm very sorry for the black screen there. That is because I was fixing some settings out of the game. And there we go. I think we can go back and see how it looks.
You can also see Big Boss is currently on pole. So Ferrari's has been dislodged by not just 1, not just 2, 3 drivers are now ahead of the Williams' Ryzen. The championship leader can only manage 12th position, but his championship contender, Zerd, manages to put it on pole position. And wow, that was a stellar lap from the Haasman, and he's got a 10th.5 advantage between himself and Big Boss on the front row. Very, very good lap from the Haasman, and especially with Ryzen down in 12th, that's definitely a confidence boost going into the race.
Yes, indeed, it must be, as We now almost have all the drivers out, but most of them looks to be on some in-laps going to prepare for that last final bang.
The last final roll of his eyes. I'm just on board with lap 7 now. He's locking up into every single corner as he rounds the final sector around turn 16 and turn 17. He actually bails into the pit, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got his lap invalidated. Maybe at turn 1 it's very easy to just misjudge turn 1 because it's such high speed, especially with these cars, as we all should know by now. And yeah, it's very easy. The track limits are deadly, and if you abuse them, you will get punished.
Yes, indeed you will, as the stewards, not only in the game but in AOR in total, are quite firm on the track limits.
Yeah, definitely. I think Richie B actually is on pole. He's on the soft compound tyres. What a way to interrupt me. And yeah, Richie B had a decent start to the season. Well, actually, to be fair, he didn't have the best start, but now he's picking up some form, picking up momentum, and now he's just bagged a provisional pole for the time being. We will expect time to tumble throughout the session. We should expect times in and around the high 1:11s, and we're getting closer, but we're not there just yet.
No, as the track gets more and more rubbery, the drivers can be more and more flat out on the track and get more and more grip, so they can set the perfect lap time at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm trying to find some, because most drivers, I think about half the bunch are in the pit, so it's quite hard to pinpoint the driver we can maybe go on board with. Heitinen in third, I think, is on his in-lap. Yes, as you can tell by his AOR usage. Kreisix, the winner of the British Grand Prix last time out, is currently in P5. I think his Ferrari's going for it again. He's not, but he's on the medium compound tyres. So he decided to bail into the pits there, so he must not be happy with how those medium tyres are feeling on that in-lap, and he might go back and set a lap on the ultra soft tyres as game mode now also comes into the pits. I thought you looked like he was going to set a lap. Will return coming to the pits. Yeah, so pretty much everyone's diving into the pits for the final dash.
Yes, Kreisig does so too and spins on the entrance. He took a very late decision, just like Hamilton did, just by pitting in instead of Hamilton going out. But here, he almost spun it completely round on the entrance.
Didn't Jensen Button do that, a few years, quite a while ago? I'm pretty sure he had an off moment in, I think it was this, if my mind serves me correctly, I don't know, I'm just getting a bit confused myself. But speaking of British drivers, Zerd is currently on his flying lap on the soft compound tyres as Johan Emberg joins the session again.
Yeah.
So we might as well go on board with Zerd, because he's literally the only guy out on track, so kind of limited with who we can go on board with. But Zerd being in second place on the soft compound tyres now compared to the medium tyres, which he set his fastest lap on. He's hurtling down this DRS straight, now braking into the hairpin. Don't look up. Has he done it? No, he hasn't. He pretty much pinpointed his braking point very well indeed. Now he heads towards the Mercedes-Benz grandstand through turn 7, flat out right-hander for braking, a tricky braking zone into turn 8, and now through the chicane of 9, 10 and 11 as we head into the stadium section. A great place to A, see the action, and B, see the driver go flat out. And this is a very tricky section actually, and this is a Sachs curve, obviously, where we saw that incredible championship defining moment in real life. Hopefully if we do see it in today's race, the championship defining moment, then I would be surprised. Anyway, Zerd round the final corner up towards the line. Is it good enough for pole? Yes it is. It's a 1:11.7, so he's got 6/10 between himself and Richie B. That is a fantastic lap, and he's pulled it out of the back with 4 minutes to go of this session.
Yep, and as you said, it would be the high 11s. That is just what that time was. Very good time from Zerd. lining him up on provisional pole for now, but as all the drivers now are coming out for their last flying lap.
It's very interesting that Richie B is actually on his flying lap.
Yeah,
No,
but
he's
it
not.
looks
He
like...
backed out.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it looks like he has had a aborted it.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see all the tyre choices. Most are going for the soft tyres, but Richie B has elected to go on the ultra soft tyres. So I think he's determined to get this pole position. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think so too, because the ultra softs are quite fast, but it is also really aggressive starting the race on them, as they don't go very far into the race. So you would maybe have to do a 3-stopper if you qualify in the top 10 and has to start on them.
Definitely, and by everyone choosing a harder compound tyre to start, it gives me an indication that there is no rain forecast for at least the start of the race, because if it was raining, then everyone can, well, it doesn't matter what tyres you qualify on, because you're going to start on in the intermediate tyres. Hooper up towards the line, he puts his car on the front row, only 2/10 between himself and third on the ultra soft tyres, so
As Richard
so,
B goes into the pits,
you are right, he does
maybe
fail into the pits.
it could be that his lap time got invalidated early on, therefore he quit the lap at the start. But as we see here, Big Boss on his out lap, on his way up to the line, coming through the Mercedes grandstand, or going past it, I should say.
But in the Heitinen manages to get third place, so Richie B has lost another spot. It's not really going well so far, as I think most drivers are now have either finished their lap, or like Big Boss, you just said, are going to start their lap in very short succession.
Yes, indeed, as we here have Big Boss coming through the last 2 corners, going out on his flying lap using the hot lap ERS and opening the DRS, probably also using Rich Mix in that Ferrari, coming through the first corner, then hard braking into the second corner here, going on to the Parabolica turn, if you even can call it a turn. It is just one long curve, coming down to brake hard in the chicane. As he locks up, that may make his lap a bit worse and not able to go on pole, but let's see as he comes down to the Mercedes grandstand. As he locks up again, maybe his setup is set a bit more to the rear tyres. As he comes here into the grandstands, as he locks up again, as he comes through the twisty bit towards the last couple of corners, as he goes wide. That could invalidate his lap, but we don't know. Let's see. As he goes second fastest with a 11.6.
Whoa! Did not expect him to pull that out, and especially going wide in the final corner, but it's only second. It's not first, because Hooper is on pole. He managed to improve on his lap time on the same set of tyres. Those Ultrasofts, crucially, have done 2 laps, one more than you probably should have wanted to in qualifying, as drivers like to go for one mad dash. But Hooper has found more time on his second lap and is currently on pole with, Big Boss, as you mentioned, alongside him, and it's Zerd and Ryzen, the 2 championship protagonists, currently on the second row of the grid.
Yes, indeed, as we have Richard B coming around to start his lap, going full speed. As we also see most of the drivers actually retiring from the session, as they believe that they have set the best time they can and want to preserve their tyres. And we see Serge finishing there, only able to get third place, but drivers are still out on their flying laps, so he could be pushed further down.
Ryzen's had at his personal best middle sector, so he could be in still yet to set his lap time. Round the final corner he comes now. Where can the Southman, where can the championship leader start on the grid? Only 4th. So he managed to dislodge his teammate Heitinen, who previously had got ahead of him, but he does not manage to get ahead of his teammate. Is there anyone else still on their lap? Richie B is, but he's weaving, so I think he must have made a mistake. And yeah, he has. I think that's everyone done and dusted for qualifying.
As we know, we still need Richie B, see if he can pull something out of the bag coming out of the last corner. Coming up to the line, no, not able to. What about Cry6? He has aborted his lap, so this is the standings. Hooper starting on pole, then Big Boss rounding off the first row, then Serd and Rysan, so crucially starting in front on the second row of the grid. Then we have Hitzenen, Return, Mob, Richie B, Cry6 and Ferraris rounding off the top 10. He has to start on those soft tyres. Then we have Diri Coyote, Game Mode, Eli, Lazzaro, then Robert and Johan Engberg starting in the last place. Also, no, Lazzaro, well, he hasn't set time, so I believe he will at least start on the final row of the grid.
I don't know if Johan has managed to get in. I think he might have had a bit of problems, unfortunately, that seems to plague some of the drivers. Is he in the... I don't think he is. No, he's not. You can see waiting for players. He's not there.
No, so he didn't make it.
Great shame.
Yes, indeed. So that means that Robert will start in last place.
Where he should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hooper manages to pull out the bike, his first pole position of the season, but yes, on the ultra soft tyres, so it's going to be a severe disadvantage from probably lap 4 onwards. Big Boss alongside him, Zerd and Ryzen keep to the company on row 2. Heighten in return in 5th and 6th, Mob, Richie B, Cry6 and the new man Ferraris rounding out the top 10 with... Oh, I did not manage to catch. I can catch it on stream. Diorakoti, Game Mode, Eli, Lazzaro, and yes, Roberts is the last driver to round out the grid, as it is overcast conditions in the race, just like it was in qualifying.
Yes, maybe we will see some rain coming later in the race. Maybe around lap 9 to 14, as that's where the soft tyre runners will begin to pit. Maybe they've seen that and have thought, I'll start on the soft tyres and pit whenever the rain comes.
Exactly. I was just talking to Lazzaro there, and you know, Lewis Hamilton did start from 14th on the grid, and it did look overcast at the start, and it did rain. Who knows?
Yes, indeed, it could happen. You're right there. Could happen.
With the madness of the first 10 races, as we head into the second half of the season, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how Hooper's going to fare on the ultra soft tyres. We don't know how Big Boss is going to fare, being on his best starting grid position probably in his career. We don't know how Zerd and Ryzen are going to feel, because they want anything but contact on the first lap, and they want to just make sure they get through cleanly with their teammates actually alongside each other behind them. And yeah, let's have a look at the tyres. Obviously, the top 10 will start on the tyres they qualified on, as per usual. But yeah, outside the top 10, it is softs for Diorakoti, mediums for Game Mode and Eli, Lazzaro on the soft compound tyres, which I think what Lewis Hamilton actually started the race on. So, I don't know, psychic me might think this could happen.
Let's watch out we don't give him the commentator's curse.
Exactly, but Roberts rounding out the grid on the medium compound tyres. Yeah, Hooper is in a big risk. He needs a clean start and needs to stay in first position. He needs to pull away as much as he can, because the delta between the ultra softs and the softs are big, but not in Germany, because you could see how close the qualifying was. Even with that two-step advantage that Hooper had, he only managed to scrape pole position from Big Boss. Yeah, this could be an absolute cracker to start off 2019 right here in PCF4. I don't know about you, but I think we're set for a very interesting race.
Yeah, I'm on that. This can only be interesting with the tyre choices and all that. But as you see on the left side there, Jonah Engberg is in there in 16th place, but he's not on the grid. As I've tried to cycle through the cars, he is not showing up, but he is still showing there for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, big shame that he can't, but we still have 15 drivers ahead of this German Grand Prix, and the 5 lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go. And who's going to get the best start out of the top 2? Looks like Hooper squirming his way in towards turn 1. It's 3 wide in the midfield as Big Boss holds on to P2. Zerd and Ryzen come after that, and I think everyone's getting through cleanly as we all head in towards turn 2, side by side between the Renault and the 3 wide actually between the Renault, the Williams and the Mercedes. Got squeezed out there, but down through Parabolica we go now. It's Hooper ahead of Big Boss. Zerd slipstreaming behind the Ferrari. Can he make a move into the hairpin at turn 6? It's going to have to be a late lunge into here. Big Boss covers the inside line, rising behind that, and the side by side between Heitinen and Return. Oh, there's not quite a bit of contact there, but Return manages to get ahead of the Sauber, and everyone's starting to form into their positions right now, and no one has really made up a lot of ground as Richie B sends it up the inside of game mode at turn 8 there. Oh, bit of argy body stuff, and he gets forced out wide there, and Robert says thank you, I'll have that 13th position as we head into the stadium section for the first time. Very tricky to overtake through, it's pretty much single file, and it looks to be that case. It's actually Lazzaro going around the outside of the Williams of Ferraris, just like Lewis Hamilton did in the real life race. Escamo sends it up the inside of Ferraris as well, so he loses 2 positions in 2 corners, and Robert might say I'll have another position. And on to lap 2 we go now, and I haven't really given you a lot of chance to commentate, gents, but this is absolutely crazy.
Yes, I know, as we really see Ferraris lose so many positions on the first lap as Richie B goes down the inside of the first corner. Oh, that's Ferraris having a terrible start to this race, going all the way down to 14th.
He's lost 5 positions. Richie B has lost 5. No, Richie B's lost 5 positions. Ferrari's lost 4. So in theory, Richie B has had the worst start out of all of them. But Lazzaro's already made up 4 positions. As Roberts also made up a lot of ground. He's up into 12th, and Lazzaro goes wide at turn 8. Can keep it on the track. He's lost ground to Diaracoti. But towards the end of the second lap, Hooper is coming under all sorts of pressure from Big Boss and Zerd. So have the Ultrasoft tyres given up the ghost already? It's only lap 2.
Well,
Look at that, going wide.
Well, I mean, if he tortured them too much in the qualifying, that could have made them already go off the cliff. As we'll see Big Boss try and go down the inside.
Right, he's got the inside
Yep, he got it.
He makes the move stick. So Big Boss now is your leader, and now with DRS activated, Hooper should be. Big Boss actually might be a sitting duck, as Hooper's got the slipstream, he's got the DRS, got the power turned up to 11.
But what about Zerd? Look at Zerd! They're 3 wide! Going into the hairpin. As Zerd takes the middle, and he goes into the lead. Zerd's in the lead.
It's absolutely incredible racing. Hooper's lost 2 positions in 1 corner, and Zerd absolutely sensational. He's yet to win a race, and he's in a prime position right now with Ryzen stuck behind Hooper to take this race win. It's very early in the race, mind you, but if that's a race-winning move, that is definitely deserving, because unbelievable. He managed to keep it 3 wide, despite how wide these cars are compared to like 2016 when we last came here to Hockenheim. And unbelievable, 3 wide into the hairpin, and he made it stick.
Yes, indeed, very unusual move to see through there. For the most part, you only see one driver go down the inside and sometimes try it down the outside, as we see Gamer Mode go down the inside of Marb, and Gamer Mode lost it. Sorry, Marb lost it into the wall. He's out of the race, as returns into the wall as well. Marb went wide and then went back onto the track as he lost the rear end, and Returners lost most of his right end plate as he's now just trying to limp it back to the pits.
Oh, massive shame for return, but his teammate is putting a great fight up with Big Boss. Big Boss obviously had the slipstream, he had the DRS going down towards turn 6 and Zerd, managing to fend him off and keep hold of that first race. Look how Hooper is dropping away from the leaders, and he's got Ryzen all over his tail. I knew this would happen, and unfortunately for Hooper, the strategy at McLaren has really not paid any dividends for him whatsoever. He'll probably come onto the pits in and around lap 6 or 7, and Ryzen is all over his tail, as now with return out of the equation, it is now Heitinen up into 5th place. So Sauber doing very well for himself indeed, and so are Renault, to be fair. Krajic's up into 6th and starting 9th, and Lazzaro up into 8th position already. Do you want to say something? No? Okay, well, we'll carry on.
Oh, as we here see Rysan going past Hooper as Hitzinen tries round the outside, but Hooper's able to defend on the inside, but no, they're still side by side. As Hitzinen goes round the outside of Hooper, and also Rysan went down the inside of Hooper, so Hooper just losing positions left, right and centre. Will he come in this lap maybe, as he lost a bit off that corner? Maybe Krajic's will go for a move here into the stadium section.
Hooper is really struggling for grip. You could just see out of the hairpin the amount of traction he lost compared to Heitinen.
Yeah.
Got a much better drive.
As he goes into the pits. Yeah, he goes wide into the pits.
Oh, that's Cerro! Cerro's gone off.
Oh
After
no!
making such a great start, he's managed to bottle it.
Oh, as he's going even further wide, as he lost it again. He's now into the gravel trap as Lazzaro retires from the race.
What could have been for the man who started 14th, made a great start up into P8, but unfortunately a error makes him the second DNF. Technically third if you count Hockenheimring of this race, and massive shame, but that promotes Robert up a place as well, so he's 7 positions gained, and it's not even lap 6 yet, and you know, the battle for the lead is still raging on. Ryzen after clearing the McLaren of Hooper, now in 3rd place, 2.7 behind, with his teammate very closely behind him, and Krajic's, the winner of the British Grand Prix, is doing decent so far. He's made up 4 positions on the opening exchange.
Oh, as Big Boss almost lost it through the second to last corner.
You're right, and look how much time he's lost. He was in a second, now it's 1.5, and Ryzen is only 2 seconds behind him, so Big Boss may be cracking under the pressure of being in such a high position. And you know, the guys who are renowned for being in like the top standings, Zerd and Ryzen will definitely reel him in, and Zerd will definitely try and push away after realizing that Big Boss made that mistake.
Yep, maybe his tyres are already going off. They should only be going off at around lap 9. But maybe he's still drifting around, so maybe he just pushed the car too much in qualifying.
You're very right, and Ryzen still ahead of his teammate. Wonder if any team orders will come into play. We obviously saw that in the real life Grand Prix, so don't know. Will Sauber keep their positions? I think they might just let them race, to be honest, and try and catch up to Big Boss, who has been, after that little bit of a mistake, he's managed to regain his composure and go again. He's kept in touching distance of Zerd, and he's kept clear of the 2 Saubers.
As Eli goes down the inside of Ferraris for 10th place. Just coming into the stadium section. Oh, as Ferraris overtakes Eli in a very awkward moment there, as it looks like he ghosted for a second.
He did. That's very unfortunate. But can he try and move into turn 1? Not any room there, but I'm sure maybe in turn 2 he might try it. Obviously, you can tell he's much quicker than the Williams. Down the inside he goes. Ferraris gives him racing room and stays ahead for the time being as the yellow flags somewhere in sector 3, and it's a return. Oh dear. Return after having such a good start and qualifying has had an absolute shocker in the past couple laps. As there goes Eli down the inside on Ferraris, and hopefully he'll manage to stay ahead for longer than he did the previous time round, and is now up into the points.
Yes, indeed he is. As we see, Hitzlin coming ever closer to Rysan in 3rd place.
Interesting that Ryzen's lost about half a second I should say, on this lap alone. So maybe Heitinen is trying to show that he is the quicker driver of the two Sabres, and maybe he'll try, maybe some team orders may come into play to try and gain on Big Boss. Is doing very well for himself right now, and everyone seems to settle into their groove and settle into their positions, and it's only really the Sauer pair who are in very close congestion. And look at this, Heisen's going to try, you know, look how defensive Rice is going to the inside. Heinen has to go to the outside, there's nowhere else for him to go. It's very difficult to overtake around the outside, but might try the switcheroo down towards turn 7 and turn 8. He's got a great slipstream behind his teammates. He's going to put inside, outside. Where's he going to go? Down the inside it goes. Oh, he thought about it, but Ryzen very wisely gave him room, but didn't give him a lot of room to dive down the inside. And very wisely indeed, Ryzen stays ahead of his teammate for the time being. But I think they're losing time ever the more. Are not just Big Boss ahead of him, but Cryzix as well. He's just lurking in the background like a Vulcan, just waiting for an opportunity to arise. And unfortunately for him, nothing just yet for the Frenchman in the Renault.
No, could be that he's waiting for the pit stops to come, just trying to lurk in the background. Big Boss is out. What happened there?
I'm looking on the.
Let's try on Gordon.
He's gone at turn 1. He's out at turn 1, still in position to where Felipe Mata was parked all those years ago.
Oh yes, indeed. Oh, how unfortunate. He was doing so well in P2.
I know, it's puts a lot of pressure, a lot of elements onto the battle between the two Saubers, because it's now a battle for 2nd, not 3rd. So both of these guys are in the podium places, and probably Frederick Vasseur is going to be biting his nails with the fact that these two are so close together, and Cryzix is so very closely following him. I'm just so good for Big Boss. He was looked in a prime position to get, I think, his first podium of the season.
Yes, I think so too, as he has been so unfortunate through the season so far.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a perfect race so far this season. I think his best finishing position is around about 5th or maybe 6th, and his finishing position today is in the barriers, unfortunately. Down in 13th, out of the race, and he joins Lazzaro, Marb, and Johannenberg in the DNFs for this race.
Yes, indeed he does, as the two Saubers looks like they are clever and has just settled into positions and are not trying to do anything stupid on each other, trying to play the team game. Maybe there could, as you said, be some team orders. Maybe Saubers trying to do some fiddly stuff with the strategies, as Theory Coyote tries for the overtake on gamer mode and succeeds, but gamer mode comes back at him round the outside at the Mercedes grandstand, turns to the inside as he gets the position back from Theory Coyote.
I think it was him trying to overtake the Red Bull. He's been behind him for a few laps now, and what a move. Round the outside of turn 8, you don't really see overtakes into the Mercedes-Benz grandstand, but he managed to pull it off. And hopefully now he'll try and pull away and set his sights for Cryzix in 4th as Hooper picks himself a finishing penalty. We haven't really seen much of him after he pitted, but he's managed to get past the Williams of Ferraris on his debut, and he's now got 2 seconds to close on Eli in 9th. Got a lot of clean air in front of him, 9.9 seconds, nearly 10 seconds for himself, and Richie B in 8th, but with severely reduced grid now after 4 retirements pretty much. Oh, sorry to have dropped myself there because the two Saubers are going wheel to wheel once again. And has Heitinen done it this time around? Yes, he has. He's up into second place. Ryzen lets him go pretty much and might want to tuck into the slipstream as Heitinen now moves up into second place in this race, and maybe he can set his sights on Zerd in third position. 5.8 the gap. That's how much time he was losing sitting behind his teammate. But he said, no, now time is enough. I am going for this. And what a move round the outside of the hairpin. Up into second place goes Heitinen.
Yes, he does, as the Saubers were sitting behind each other for so long, and has really pushed these soft tyres, and then Hitzinen just lurking behind, waiting for that opportunity, and he got it and used it well and overtook Rysan.
Exactly, as Richie B is the first one to dive into the pits here on the soft compound tyres. So he's the first to make his move on lap 12. It would be for him. So we should be seeing some activity in the pits as yet. Ferrari's also comes into the pits as well. He's down in 11th. The two Saubers are going for it again. Oh, Heitinen defends the inside very aggressively, cuts across his teammate, and he manages to stay ahead to Ryzen. Might still want to get that second place back. I don't really know what the Sauber are doing because they're still losing ground to Zerd, and Kryzix is right there. If they make a mistake and they maybe come into contact, because Kryzix will happily snap up a podium spot right now as a turn. Unfortunately, his day gets even worse with 3 seconds time penalty. He's way out the pecking order. Will anyone come into the pits? Zerd is in the pits. So the race leader comes in, and Heitinen, will he take advantage of the fact that he's the first Sauber? Yes, he does, and he's in the pits before Ryzen, so Ryzen's going to have to go another lap on these old, aging, soft compound tyres, and that'll give Heitinen a lot of motivation to set a good outlap and stay ahead of his teammate.
Yep, and where will Zerd filter out? Looks like he will come out in 5th place. 9.5 seconds, actually 9.8 seconds behind Ryson, and that gap is just getting bigger and bigger. As Zerd will try to go as fast as he can on those medium tyres, just trying to keep that gap as low as possible so he can take that lead again.
The pit lane here is very short, and it's probably one of the shortest, if not the shortest, on the calendar. It's only about 15 seconds at best, and you can tell because Zerd is only 11-12 seconds behind Ryzen when it was 5-6 seconds ahead of him after his pit stop. So will Ryzen come to the pits this lap? He's got a few more corners to go through before he can come to the pits.
I think he will. Yes, he does.
As does Kryzix as well. So battle between the two Saubers. Where are they going to come out? Heitinen is coming around turn 13 and 14 right now as Ryzen stops right now on his marks. Obviously Sauber being the last team in the garage of all the 10 garages. Heitinen's coming down the main straight right now as Ryzen comes out. Heitinen into turn 1. Who's going to come out ahead in the two Saubers?
They're side by side.
No, Heitinen manages to stay ahead, but Ryzen has quicker, fresher tyres. They're not up to temperature though, so maybe that could play dividends. But yes, DRS 5 tenths behind. Can he make the move stick? He's gaining ever the more on Heitinen. Saw a great shot of his rear view there. Ryzen sends it up the inside. Late move. Dive bomb from Ryzen, the championship leader. Can he make the move stick with his teammate? No, he can't. He's trying everything in his bid to get past him. Down the inside it goes. It's still side by side. This is great racing, but I'm sure the Sauber pit wall probably aren't liking this one bit because they're losing time all the time to Zerd, who's comfortably in the lead. Not in the lead now, but he will be once Game Mode and Rover make their pit stops.
Yes, he was. He's only 5.2 seconds behind them.
It's fast up as well for good measure, so he's really he's really feeling in the groove right now, and it makes a bit of surprise because he didn't say, well, beforehand he said he didn't feel so confident, and he's been playing a lot of iRacing the past few weeks, and didn't think his pace on there could translate into race-winning material here in Hockenheim, but that's definitely that's not proved the case. But again, there is still 18 laps to go, so it's not over till the checkered flag falls. I won't say your quote because I'll say that for later for you. As look at this battle for fourth, Hayden, Ed of Ryzen, and Cryzix. Look how much he's gained on these two squad leagues. He's within a second, all three cars actually, within a second of each other. I am very excited to see who comes out on top on these, because it looks like Ryzen looks to be the quicker driver on the medium compound tyres compared to Hayden, who looked the quicker on the soft compound tyres. That would be the worst nightmare I am for everyone involved in Salmon, especially the drivers as well, especially Ryzen. He's going to see he's going to see Zerd in a few laps' time retake over the lead, whilst he is battling for what will be second place, and with the gap in the championship only being 9 points in his favour, if things stand, he will lose the championship lead. It'll be 1 point in Zerd's favour as we head into Hungary next weekend.
But you know, that 1 point could be crucial, as it could play some mind games on the opposition for Zerd.
You're very right, as Big Boss actually comes into the YouTube chat and says, I love this turn one, very nice. Fortunately, he came a cropper at that turn. Third of a turn, and so did Mob. Return currently still in this race, but feeling pretty lonely along with Ferraris. Both outside the points as Roberts actually comes to the pit, the first one on the medium compound tyres. Game mode, oh, he's gone wide on the start finish straight. Just gone to spectate him, and he's on the grass. And look how close Zerd is. He's been reeling him in on those fresh compound of medium tyres on that Haas. And surely now, game mode will lose the lead of the Grand Prix. Look at that, side by side through Parabolica. He is cruising ahead of that Mercedes, and Zerd retakes over the lead of this German Grand Prix on lap 18 of 34, but locks up into the hairpin. But should have better traction on game mode, and he rightly does, as he weaves. Probably thinks thank you for not really putting up a fight. As look at this, the two Saubers are still going hammer and tong. Ryzen completely goes round the outsiders. There's a McLaren for Force India also battling behind them, and Ryzen has got ahead. I was predicting this a few laps ago because Ryzen looked to be the quicker driver, and now he'll start to pull away from his teammate. And the battle has been raging on for a lot of laps. I don't think it's over just yet. I don't know about you.
No, we hope it's not over yet, because we want to see battling. But as you can see, Ryzen is just pulling away, so I unfortunately think it is over. But you never know, you never know. As Gamer Mode comes into the pits.
Yep, so then this battle will now become for second. But you know, I think this battle is still going to carry on, you know. It's only 5/10 the gap between second and third, and make that third and fourth as well, as there was more battling in the background. I could see was Robert and Hooper going side by side, but Robert gets ahead of Hooper, as now through the Parabolica we come now. It is Ryzen ahead. Ryzen actually gaining a lot. Oh, and he locks up. Oh, he nearly makes contact with the rear of that Sauber, but just avoids contact. That must have been a heart-in-mouth moment for Cryzix, as in this battle still enrages as Zerd continues to lead.
Yeah, and Sir will be very happy for this fight, as that gives him some breathing room to just stretch his lead out in front, as he'll be hoping to be there for the whole race, the whole rest of the race. As Sir, as he gets a 3-second time penalty, that is not what he hoped for.
Yes, but in theory, he needs to pick up 3 more to even be in danger of being dethroned off that top spot because of penalties, as Eli actually now comes into the pits as Robert. Very well indeed, in 5th place at the moment, starting at the back, and he's got the bit between his teeth right now because he is gaining ever the more on these 3 guys that are battling constantly every single lap. And Crysis, as you might say, my time is right now, and I'm going to try and get past Heiden. They're going to go side by side, the Sauber and the Renault, but the Sauber has the inside line for that turn, and he manages to get ahead. Or stay ahead, I should say, because he was in 3rd place originally.
Yes, he was, as Crysis almost hit the back of Ryson in the hairpin, as they're still battling very, very hard up here for 2nd place.
Yeah, as soon as Ryzen tries to pull away, his teammate has other thoughts, and as soon as Heinen tried to pull away in the previous stint, Ryzen again had other thoughts on that, and I just think Crysis is waiting for that perfect opportunity to get past. I can tell from his experience so far in this league that unfortunately, if he didn't have that bad luck, he would definitely be a championship contender, as Hooper now comes into the pits for probably his 2nd, so to say, and final stop. But now, through the parabolica, we come now, Ryzen 4 tenths ahead of Heinen, and Heinen 5 tenths ahead. And look at that, you can see that Pink Panther in the distance, and that is Roberts gaining and gaining and gaining, and he'll rock up to this battle with a lot of hope to get on the podium places. He's picked up, has he picked up any penalties? Because he's known in his only 2 races so far to pick up any penalties. Yes, he's picked up 1 so far. Zerd, obviously, you just saw, picked up penalty on the previous lap. Ryzen has no warnings whatsoever, so he's been keeping it very clean indeed, as has his teammates. And Crysis has not got a penalty, so his downfall, Robert, in his 2 and only races so far this season, has been picking up penalties. So if he does climb onto this back of this battle, which he will do, I'm certain, he'll have to get past them in very short succession and try and pull a gap to these guys if these remain penalty-less, you could say. As 22 out of 34, this race has flown by, quite frankly, and we're 2/3 of the way through it, and this battle continues to rage ever the more.
Yeah, yes, as the Formula 4 League is known for, there is battling all the way to the end. As you said, this race has flown by with all the action, and this battle could be seen to go all the way to lap 34.
You forget that Germany is one of the shortest tracks on the calendar. It's not the shortest. Austria, actually Monaco is the shortest, but Austria in terms of lap time is. But yeah, that 22 out of 34, make that 23 out of 34 when Besserd comes across the finish line. He's been leading for, about 20 of the 23 laps we've had so far after dispatching off Hooper. And he looks, to be fair, he looks in a league of his own, which is the first real time we've seen Zerd in this state. He's been either battling for position, or he just hasn't seemed to have the right pace at the right time. But today, I think that's time for change. It's a bit weird how Haas is like everyone's a mad filling inside of a massive Haas sandwich, because Zerd leads and his teammate Return is in last position at the time being.
Yes,
So I'd
indeed.
point that out.
Yeah, as we see here, Hitznen again very close to Ryson, thinking, should I dive it? But he's not close enough.
Exactly, every single time he's trying, but he just can't find that edge that he needs, a few more meters closer, and I'm sure he will go for it. He's a racer. He knows when to dive down the inside and when to hold station and stay behind his teammate, but I'm sure he will be very eager to get past his teammate. I wonder if they are in a voice call together, and maybe they're playing this strategically, as you said, quite a few laps before, playing the team game. Maybe Ryzen wants to pull Heighton along and keep him within that DRS range so Cryzix can't sail past that Finnish Sauber driver, and maybe that's what they're thinking as Cryzix picks himself up a penalty that could be costly in the latter stages of this race. Look at Robert, he's within a second of Cryzix. So he's rocked up to this party.
Yep, but he just got himself another 3-second time penalty.
Oh dear, we said Austria, he lost positions because of his penalties. In Silverstone he did the exact same. In France he did the exact same as well, and it's going to be, it might not be the same this time around because game mode's a few seconds adrift and he's picked up himself a few penalties as well. But it's if Robert can slice his way through this pack like a hot knife through butter. Right now he's just gaining and gaining slightly as these three continue to battle, but battle just really means holding station and just staying where they are before waiting for a moment to arise, which hasn't happened so far.
No, as we see, Cryzix was very close to Hitson, but Hitson managed to defend well from him. Oh, as it looks like my controller there has disconnected, so you guys are missing out currently on the action. But we are back here again. I'm very sorry for that.
Turning mine hookup, I'm sure, because I'm using a keyboard myself, because my controller decided to give up the ghost, well the Y did at least, so I'm having to revert to the keyboard, but I'm still managing to see this action. And can we see a move, please? Can we see a move maybe for a second? Yes, I think we're going to have this, because Ryzen, look how defensive he's going. Hayden, is this his time to get past his teammate once again? Cryzix is just lurking, and the fact that Hayden went deep into turn 6 because he was compromised with his line that Ryzen forced him to. Cryzix, look how close. I'm going to go on board with him as you see this battle commence once again. Ryzen alongside Hayden, side by side between the two of them. Hayden was the inside of a turn 9. Ryzen hangs it around the outside very well indeed, very well done indeed, and he manages to hang on to that second place. But look at this, second, third, fourth and fifth separated by less than a second, and Cryzix locks up into the Sachs curve, and look how eager he's getting to the back of Hayden, as Ryzen starts to pull away a little bit, and Cryzix getting even more. Look at Robert, look how close Robert's getting. He's on the soft compound tyres, he has got everything to gain here, as all these guys on medium tyres, how will be their tyres will be aging ever more as Cryzix does a really bad run out of turn 1, and Robert's gonna send it up the inside into turn 2, and he makes up a place on the Renault. He's up into 4th place now. Can he challenge the pair of Saubers? I don't think he will on this occasion, because Hayden has that DRS. Hayden's gonna try it again on Ryzen. I'm pretty sure, you know, Ryzen again going extremely defensive. He's not getting Hayden a stiff. Roberts, oh, Robert hooked up massively there, and I thought he might have clipped Ryzen there, and it could have been a chain reaction. 3 wide. We've seen it work before with Dirt, Hooper and Ryzen, but not on this occasion, as Robert sends it up the inside of Hayden, and he makes a bit of contact between himself and the Sauber. Wheel bang between the two as Robert gets forced off the track, and they're still going into the same section. Hayden with the inside line, and he edges ahead of the Force India for the time being. But Force India at the Sachs curve, he forces Hayden into a position he didn't want to go, and through goes the Force India up into 3rd place, and now he is going to set his sight to Ryzen, surely.
Yes, he will, but you have to remember, he has 6 seconds of time penalties, I believe, so he would need to go very fast if he wanted to get this position, as Cryzix goes down, tries at least to go down the inside of Hitsonen, but Hitsonen defends from him and closes the door, as we have gamer mode edging closer and closer to this battle.
Oh my word, no way.
It is turning, oh,
you carry it, no, you do it.
no, yeah, as Cryzix goes round the outside of Hitsonen, it looked there, as this is about to turn into a 5-car battle for what would be 2nd place.
I had a great front row seat for a 4-way battle in the classic Christmas from Belgium, but this has surpassed it by the fact that it's 5 cars. It's not 1st place, but it's still for 2nd, which is, you know, as good as a place as it can be right now. As Zerd is just cruising to the end. I'm pretty sure you can probably see on the track map, which is on every driver's bottom left-hand corner. You can probably see 5 cars in such close congestion. He's probably in dreamland right now, knowing that all these guys are squabbling. As Ryzen picks up himself up a penalty, that'll be costly as well, and it could be even costlier because look at Roberts. Oh, Ryzen defends the inside into turn 2, and now he's going to be a sitting duck surely on this straight. Roberts, ERS up into overtake. DRS wide open, slipstream ever the more, and now they're going wheel to wheel, banging wheel between the two of them. Robert forced the outside, Ryzen going to hang his nose in there on the inside. Robert gives him the room, crucially, with a better traction out of turn 6. He manages to make the move stick, just a force India, and he is now up into second place. Can Ryzen fight back into turn 8? No, he cannot, and that means Robert can now pull away. He's been gaining so much the past 2 laps, and he's made that gain into 3 overtakes in pretty much 3 laps. And now he'll pull away. We'll try and gain 6 seconds at least, because that's how many penalties he has. But obviously there's still 5 laps to go of this crazy race at Hockenheim. There's no rain, I don't think, happening. We don't need rain. We don't need rain at all. Is game mode has pitted?
Yes, he has. He on lap 29. Could that be for some front wing damage he accumulated in that?
I think I know what he's doing. I think because this pit lane is so short, he could easily gain up a lot of time, especially on those ultra soft tires, especially when these guys are swabbling. And look at this, Cryzic's now getting interested on Ryzen's tail. Ryzen is crucially still got that DRS the back of Robert. It's look how difficult it is to pull away at the circuit. It happened in Silverstone last time out, and it's happened again. Every time someone gets past, they still can't manage to pull away. 1 second, and Ryzen will be very thankful that Robert is unable to do it, because he's making sure he stays ahead of Cryzic. So you can't go for a move into turn 11, 12 I think there. It's Cryzic, he goes wide, and he puts 2 wheels on the gravel track, because there's yellow flags somewhere on the track, but they have now been alleviated, and this battle can continue.
Yeah, I thought for a moment that could have been for Serd, but I checked quickly on him. No, he was still on the track. As Hooper gets a 3 second time. Is it?
Because he's now 9.5 seconds ahead. He
Oh
was
yes,
13.5.
that is correct. That was probably because Serd went wide.
Might just locked up of the brakes, but he has lost 4 seconds. I don't think he's under any sort of pressure for the race, but especially with Robert's severe amount of penalties, and he'll be gaining away from Ryzen. But yeah, 9.3 seconds is a lot to make up, and he's got 6 second penalties. Zerd has 3, so in theory Robert has to gain 9 seconds, get past Zerd, and pull away for 3 seconds in 5 laps. I really don't think it's happening.
No, but you have to remember, it is not over until the fat lady sings. It can happen, and this fight can also still continue all to the end.
You're very right indeed, and I wonder, as Robert continues to gain on Zerd, I wonder if Zerd is going to try and play this as conservatively as possible. 4 laps to go, turn the engine down, brake much earlier for turns than you used to, and it's just all about conserving the car.
But gamer mode gets disqualified after he has received multiple penalties, as he is in sector 3, pulled over and gotten disqualified.
Unbelievable. That's the second disqualification in 3 races, I'm pretty sure. Someone got disqualified in Austria.
Yes, someone did for multiple track extensions.
I think it was Otto, so it's a different person. But still, game mode getting disqualified.
Ooh, as Cryzic's locks up and goes into the back of Rysan, loses some of his left front wing, and now loses the position to Hitzinen. Not what you want when you're in such a close battle.
Oh, what a shame. He was pretty much guaranteed a podium place after Roberts penalty situation, and now he just made a simple error. Misjudged Ryzen's braking and hit the back of him, and now he will fall away from this battle quite severely. And he picks up a 3-second penalty to add to his woes. As, to be fair, Robert's tyres might have given up the ghost. Look how wide he went through turn 3, and now through the parabolica at turn 4. Ryzen might be taking that second place back off the Force India hands, and yes, he's done it way before the braking zone of the hairpin at turn 6, and Ryzen is now up into second place, the championship leader, which means that if things remain as they are, Ryzen will be in the championship lead by 2 points from Zerd as we head into Hungary, I should say, next weekend. And Robert is struggling for grip, and maybe Heitenen could seize this opportunity and get past the Force India. Look how wide he went through turn 12, and yeah, those tyres are begging for grip, begging for help, and they're not getting anything.
Not with 3 laps to go. Robert will be trying to just keep those tyres on the road, as for some reason it looks like Hitzinen is not showing up on my screen, as he is just a blank dot of nothing. There he is. He emerges from the bottom of the track out of nowhere.
Might be able to overtake that Force India going down the straight, pulling out to the inside edge. Deja vu, because the Sauber has got ahead of a Force India, but this time, can the Force India fight back through turn 6? No, he can't. So just like last lap, Heitenen has got ahead of the Force India, and he's falling away, and picked up another time penalty once again. So that podium place is no more for Robert, and he could maybe lose 4th to Cryzix.
Yes, he could do that, as Cryzix is coming closer and closer, but I don't think he can with such small time. But you never know, it could happen.
It's the final lap starts of this race. I doubt any more positions are going to change unless someone has a severe off moment and causes a yellow flag. So hopefully that doesn't happen, especially for Zerd. Zerd in a league of his own right now, 9.1 seconds between himself and his championship rival Ryzen in second place. Battle for third, is it going to happen? I don't think. Robert's going to have to be an audacious lunge into turn 6. Can he do it? Not quite. So Heitenen manages to stay ahead, and that should be how the finishing orders happen, especially with Heitenen not picking up penalty. I'm not sure. As Ferraro actually adds his name to the penalty, but Zerd is coming around the final sector. For the man who hasn't won an AOR race since Baku in season 15, his last F4 win was at Brazil in season 14, all those months ago in 2018, but 2019 is the best way to start it, because Zerd wins the German Grand Prix in front of the German fans, and it's unfortunately for Ryzen, for the championship leader, it is not a home victory. It is going to have to be second best, third best, I should say, because Heitenen has managed to dislodge his teammates thanks to penalties. It is Cryzix home in 4th. Robert with all those penalties. We said it's his downfall the whole season, and even despite the Christmas break, he hasn't managed to improve on his penalties. He comes home 5th. Steero Kyoto was a long way back. He comes home in 7th, because Richie B, who haven't seen a lot of him in today's race, comes home in 6th. Hooper in 9th, because Eli overthrows him. Great results for the Frenchman, and a Ferrari will actually round out the top 10 on his debut, as his yellow flag probably for a slow-moving finished AI car, and he'll unfortunately return. As his teammate wins, he can finish in 11th, and I'm not surprised. He bashes into the wall out of pure frustration, and that ends a torrid weekend for himself. But for his teammate, it is the best possible way to start 2018 on the top step of the podium.
Yes, indeed he is. It is, as we see them here spraying the champagne, or just about to do so. It must be some champagne of joy coming from Serd as she jumps down from the top step of the podium and inherit the championship lead.
He will. You are right, because Hayden got second and Ryzen got third. I think Zerd will be relieved that it's finally happened. He got so close on so many occasions to actually getting that win. In France, for example, Zerd just had the better strategy. But it has finally come true in 2019, and he wins the Grand Prix. If you want, you could take away the classification for what a race to start 2019.
Yes, indeed, what a race. As we have said so much, rounding off the first spot of the podium. Then we have Hitsonen, Rysan in third, Cry 6th, Robert in 5th, Richie in 6th, Dewey Coyote in 7th, Eli in 8th, Hoop in 10th, Ferraris making his debut, rounding off the top 10, and then we have Return, the last finish of this race. Then we have Big Boss, Latzero, Mop, and Gamer Mode getting disqualified.
I'm sure he will not want to see that on his AOR record. Both Mercedes at their home Grand Prix having a race to forget about in no hurry whatsoever. Latzero, after making up all those positions at the start, unfortunately it came to nothing as he made a mistake early on in the Grand Prix. And Big Boss, how great it would have been to see him in that battle for second place. Maybe it could have been a battle for third place, because Big Boss seemed to be doing quite well in that race. And yeah, big shame that he came a cropper to that infamous turn 1. And there we go then. We have finished the Grand Prix, and we are done with the first round of 2019, the 11th round of this crazy season. And I can't wait for the next round at Hungary.
No, me neither, and we will see you next week for, as we just said, Hungary. Hope you have a good one. Until then, goodbye.
Good night.